2026 Brewers regular season game 81. The Brewers will lose against the Cubs 4-3 in extra innings. Jacob Webb with the win, Joel Kuhnel with the loss, and Jordan Wicks with the save. Top of the first, the Cubs will go 1-2-3. Bottom of the first, Christian Yelich will lead off with a strikeout. Jackson Chourio will hit a single, and Bryce Strang will hit into a double play at the end of the inning. Top of the second, the Cubs will go 1-2-3. Bottom of the second, Andrew Vaughn and Jake Bowers will get back-to-back outs. Now it's El Garrito Sanchez on the left, and that one is gone. Fastball inside off of Ryan Rollison. Let's freaking go. Brewers up 1-0. All right. Yeah. After the home run, Sal Frelick will be out number 3. Top of the third, Michael Conforto will be out number 1 on a flyout. Miguel Amaya will hit a double. Dansby Swanson will be out number 2. And PCA will get walks. Alex Bregman will be out number 3. Bottom of the third, Bryce Wilson would enter the game for the Cubs. He'd start by getting out number 1 to Cooper Pratt. David Hamilton and Christian Yelich will get back-to-back singles. Then Jackson Chourio and Bryce Strang will get back-to-back strikeouts. Top of the fourth, the Cubs will go 1-2-3. Bottom of the fourth, Andrew Vaughn will lead off with a triple, and the Brewers will go 1-2-3. Top of the fifth, the Cubs will go 1-2-3 once again. Bottom of the fifth, so would the Brewers. Top six, Dansby Swanson will be out number 1 on a lineout. PCA will get walked, and then Alex Bregman will be out number 2. Aaron Ashby would enter the game for the Brewers, and he'd get the final out of the inning to Michael Busch on a strikeout. Bottom six, Jackson Chourio will be out number 1 on a flyout. Bryce Strang will hit a single. Andrew Vaughn and Jake Bowers will get back-to-back outs to end out the inning. Top of the seventh, Seiya Suzuki will be out number 1 on a pop-out. Ian Happ will get walked, and then Nico Horner will hit a single. A wild pitch would tie it up at 1, and then Matt Shaw would get walked. Abner Uribe would enter the game for the Brewers, and he'd get back-to-back outs to Pedro Ramirez and Dansby Swanson to end out the inning. Bottom of the seventh, Gary Sanchez would be out number 1 on a groundout. Caleb Thielbar would enter the game for the Cubs. He'd start by walking Sal Frelick, Cooper Pratt, and William Contreras will get back-to-back outs to end out the inning. Top of the eighth, the Cubs will go 1-2-3. Bottom of the eighth, Christian Yelich would be out number 1 on a strikeout. Tyler Ferguson would enter the game for the Cubs, and he'd start by striking out Jackson Chourio. Bryce Strang will hit a single, then Andrew Vaughn would be out number 3 on a flyout. Top of the ninth, Trevor McGill would enter the game for the Brewers, and he'd get back-to-back outs to Seiya Suzuki and Ian Happ. Nico Horner would hit a single, and Justin Dean would strike out to end out the inning. Bottom of the ninth, Jacob Webb would enter the game for the Cubs, and he'd start by striking out Jack Bowers. Gary Sanchez would get walked. Sal Frelick would hit a single. Cooper Pratt and Joey Ortiz would get back-to-back strikeouts to end out the inning. Top of the 10th, Joel Kuhnel would enter the game for the Brewers and get back-to-back outs to Carson Kelly and Dansby Swanson. PCA would again intentionally walked. Alex Bregman would be hit by a pitch, and then a bases-loaded walk to Michael Busch and make it 2-1. A 2 RBI single by Seiya Suzuki would make it 4-1, and then Ian Happ would be out number 3. Bottom of the 10th, Ethan Roberts would enter the game for the Cubs. He started by giving up an RBI single to Christian Yelich, making it 4-2. Jackson Chourio would get walked, and then Bryce Strang would hit a single. Jordan Wicks would enter the game for the Cubs, and he'd give up a bases-loaded walk to Garrett Mitchell, making it 4-3. Jake Bowers would be on number 1 on a flyout, then Gary Sanchez would hit into a double play to end up the game. Alright, so the Brewers lose 4-3. The record in the regular season is now 50-31. And the Brewers' respective hitter of the game goes to Bryce Strang. The pitcher of the game goes to Brandon Woodruff.